In this webinar, we sit down with Chris, Chief Revenue Officer with FinLocker, the brains behind things like the FinToolbox, Key Steps, dozens of other white labeled apps used by thousands of loan officers, tens of thousands of clients. What we're going to talk about, what is FinLocker, FinToolbox? What's the client engagement, both as a client engagement, client retention tool? What changes have they made to the way that emails go out, the communication, the touch points for your client? They've made a bunch of changes recently with regards to credit, what they're looking at on scoring. There's some features coming down the road where you're going to be able to upload your closed clients, have them receive property value, pertinent information about their situation, a lot of strategy, AI search tools, a ton of stuff. So we're going to examine what FinLocker was 6 months ago, what it is today, and what it might be in the future. This right here is kind of like your all-in-one, one-stop shop from client initiation, engagement, all the way through client retention. It's a fantastic tool. Check it out. We're going to go ahead and kind of get this kicked off. And the reason that I wanted to do this is out there in the world today, there's no lack of information in that we're constantly being bombarded with different things. And that's actually not any of our problems is the information. It's that we don't know what to listen to anymore today, what things even work. I've been a partner with FinLocker now for the better part of probably 14 months. And Chris and I had a call a couple of weeks ago, and I had no idea what the hell was even happening on something that I promote, kind of sell, and do different things with. So I said, well, it probably would make some sense to get Chris on here, talk about all the changes, the new things that are coming, logins changing, sign-ons changing, Brian leaving, Chris like getting promoted to some big chief role, and all kinds of stuff. So we're just going to do a lay of the land and kind of an update on where FinLocker's at, key steps. Our version is called the FinToolbox. I don't care what version you're on, they're all the same. And with that in mind, Chris, how are you? What's going on? Happy to have you here today.
Yeah, doing well. Things are hot and heavy. I think we're all starting to, well, maybe not for you trying to close loans for the end of the year, but as far as people wanting to talk to tech vendors, it's starting to slow down as we get towards the holidays or after Thanksgiving. But with that being said, we are laser focused on some new enhancements and updates, and we've done quite a bit over the last 6 months. We do send out some release notes and some information on them, but I know everyone's flooded with all of that. So what I'd like to do today is do a little bit of a recap on some of the new features that we have in there, just to make sure you're aware. I'll give you some chance to ask some questions about it if you have any questions. I'm going to talk about, as I'm going through some of these features, I'm going to talk about some of the data that we see on it, because I think that's the most important, is how, a big part of the value prop of our app is, yeah, ultimately getting conversions, but it's staying in front of your clients for the long game in a meaningful way. And I think we have, the data to prove a lot of that. And then we'll was talking to some of the new features that are coming. Does that all
Can you
sound good, though?
also, no, I think that's great. Can you also just kind of, as you walk through here, a lot of the struggles or the frustration, people can see that the app is awesome and it does all these things, but the things that I hear over and over is, my agents aren't engaging with it, or the clients aren't doing the sign-ons, or I don't have a lot of visibility into what they're doing. And I know those are a lot of like the core things that, hey, if we could solve A, B, and C, it would be this much easier for an agent to see how awesome it is, or for the client engagement. And I know you've done like just a ton of stuff, but those are some of the things that I hear about all the time. So as you kind of just walk through there, and I know you guys are laser focused on making all those things significantly better than they even are. And I think a lot of times it's just a lack of understanding. So we'll let
Yeah.
you kind of take it away. Share
Well, and
screens, do
those
whatever
are
you want.
what you just mentioned are not like, so if some of you guys are feeling some of those struggles in using the product, that's not uncommon. I mean, we have people who do phenomenal, and we have people who do okay, and we have people who are struggling. It takes some time and it takes some effort to get in there. This is not a one and done thing. This is more of the long-term play, keeping in front of your clients, whether that's a first-time home buyer, someone up funnel, or someone you just closed a deal with, and maybe it's 2-3 years down the road. For all of you on here, you got unlimited subscription. So we don't go into the nickel and dime stuff of, oh, you've hit 100 consumers, now we're going to start charging you more. You've hit 200, here's another threshold. We're not into that business. There is going to be another add-on product that I'm going to go over in later on in this demo. But let me start by just some of you have already seen this slide, but I think it just sets the stage pretty well. And let me pull this up. So I know many of you probably have seen this slide. I just want to just kind of anchor though around major applications out there when we're talking combined hundreds of millions of users a year using these apps are out there and doing it. So we know the market is there for people using the apps. There are huge budgets behind some of these things, but there's also a little bit of a disservice to your consumer segment, your clients. If you're sending your clients to Credit Karma or they're using Credit Karma, they're likely to get other offers, other engagement areas. Same things with like the learn wallets, the search platforms. What we talk about here with FinLocker is you're putting a moat around them. You're putting them in that ecosystem, and you're doing it. Yeah, selfishly, yeah, you want them in your ecosystem, but it's also a benefit to the consumer because we are not selling data on the consumer. There's no other like if you think about Rocket Money, yeah, you can use a portion of the Rocket Money app, but then sign up for the premium to get like, the real subscription cancellation stuff going on. And, some of the more in-depth credit score, things like that. Everything that we are doing is all inclusive in the product. And you can also bring in your realtor and none of the like the Credit Karmas or the Rocket Monies where it's trying to be a more holistic app are really focusing heavy on the home ownership journey. And that's where we really sit in that. So offering a lot of the same feature functionality, not selling data, but really focused on the home as the anchor of the app. Any just questions around that before I move on?
And you guys have added some stuff too with just reporting on home values. Like there's stuff in addition that you're doing now that you weren't 6 months ago.
Yeah, and so that's a good segue into all of this. So a lot of you who've been using the app, you know about how people register and they tell us where they're at on their journey and they answer some other questions. We are getting more and more sophisticated each and every release by what these consumers select and where we navigate them to next. So the app is becoming more dynamic based on more of what we know about the consumer. And then the messaging piece is where we have really increased some good performance metrics on here. So if you just take all of our product notifications, so someone signs up for the app and just take across the board, some are higher, some are lower, but take across the board, we're getting on average over a 60% open rate. So I'd like to ask the question to the folks on here, for your guys' marketing emails that you're sending out, I'm not talking about like, hey, follow up with a client, but you're saying, hey, interest rates have changed this week, or we have this new refinance program, or anything like along those lines. Are you just ask yourself, are you seeing those type of open rates on those emails? Because when you put someone in here, yes, you need to get them to register, and we'll go into some of the more invite content, some strategies to get in there. But once they're in there, we are seeing people come back. Over 50% of people are coming back in a 90-day period. We have like a 25% monthly active user rate. That might not mean a lot to much people on the call, but before Mint went away, they were posting a 12% monthly active user rate. So in terms of engagement and where people are they are sign up, do that sign up, and then just don't really do much afterwards. And I think that's just a point for not saying every week or anything, but at a period, maybe do it twice a month. Just go check in on some of those and say, hey, I sent you the app. I saw you signed up. I see you haven't really been utilizing it. It's another way to just outreach on something meaningful. You're trying to help them, educate them, as opposed to just, selling. Let's see, do we have any comments in the chat?
Just we've got a first time user in the chat or someone learning about FinLocker for the first time. Is there an email? Is this for an email campaign?
Yeah. So it's email is a subset of it. It is an email comes into some of the invite process. This is an engagement tool. So let's see who asked that question.
Yeah, it's a
Luis. Uh, Luis, do you know like so for example, do you know much about Rocket Money?
No, I don't.
Okay. So Rocket Money, we know Rocket's a leader in the space, right? Rocket bought Truebill a few years ago for $1.3 billion. They did that to get to the consumer earlier in the process and also ongoing, just beyond the mortgage transaction. And that's what the big point of this app is. So a lot of what our loan officers use it for is people up funnel, not, they're just either for financial reasons or emotional reasons, they're not ready to transact now. A big portion of our app is geared towards first time home buyers, but there is other use cases as when you close with homes because people can track their home value, their net worth, get credit monitoring included. So this is just kind of an extension of your services. Obviously if they're ready to go on a loan, take them through your point of sale, apply now. But if they're not ready yet, them and them along.
Yeah, Chris, you were breaking up a little bit
Are
there
you
at
doing
the end.
anything? I'm sorry, what was that?
No, you were just breaking up a smidge.
Oh,
I don't know if it's an internet connection. Maybe it's on my end. Is Chris breaking up for anyone else a little bit? Or does he sound perfect? Okay.
okay.
I'll assume it's on my end.
No, he was breaking up before.
Got
Okay.
it.
So Luis, what I was saying is this is a way to keep clients engaged and nurtured. The whole point of this is through an app. So yes, there's email components of giving updates on a person's financial life and push notifications that come from the app. And those are kind of supplementing getting people to stay engaged and continue to be more engaged in the app. But how we're doing that is we're giving them things like their credit score and free credit monitoring. So they're getting updates on that. We're allowing them to track all of their net worth by digitally linking their accounts. We're allowing them to enroll their home value, to run our readiness assessment. So now it's not just like a shotgun approach of just an email of here's an update in the market or whatever. This is getting down to the personal level. Here's an update on your credit score. Here's a new trade line opened. Your home value just updated. Interest rates in the market have changed. See how that affects your readiness. And I'll show what readiness is here later. But that's the really the point of the app is keeping your clients engaged, giving them something meaningful when they aren't ready to just go through the mortgage transaction right now, like today.
And I'll just add a couple other things, so anybody that's on here, we have a version called the FinToolbox. That's my version. People can come in. Chris is showing you key steps here. You can buy directly from FinLocker. We do ours with a FinToolbox and a goalie calculator that people get. So we kind of bundle it together with some training. But another thing that I've seen really cool for people or a use case is any client that you have that you pre-approve and you send them out to Zillow, let's say to search for homes. Zillow's trying to constantly take that, place them with a Zillow agent, a Zillow lender. Inside of here, you can create, and Chris talked about creating a moat. The property search feature to me is one of the most powerful tools. And I've had close clients look at 50 properties and go through and save 50 properties. Then they're getting all that data and it's super robust. So again, just another, I'm not trying to like take Chris's thing, but to me, the property search feature may be one of the coolest things because property search is like porn for somebody buying a house. They can't stay away from it. So they're constantly just there. It's one of those big things, and it's got a really cool property search feature in there. And I'll try and shut up again, which I'm not good at.
That's a good add. And I'll just start with property search then. So you mentioned that. And this is a cool one because we were actually first to market that we know of with a particular feature here that I'm talking about, and that's search with AI. So I don't know if you guys have read the news lately, but about a month ago, Zillow integrated with ChatGPT. So when people are asking questions about a particular house or trying to find a house, they get popped up in the results a lot. And it's like, and then it takes you out to Zillow, right? And what we know about consumers, especially when we talk about what we call next gen, and so what that's defined as is the Gen Z and the millennials. A study from First Home IQ, excuse me, 20, just over 20% were using Chat GPT for their home buying related questions or another kind of AI search or AI platform for their questions. That number bumped up to close to 70% by the September of this year. So people are starting to navigate more towards this digital first and more advanced digital first. And so as John was talking about this search component, we have search as part of the app as well, but this is completely contained. What you don't see here on the right-hand side is other agents listed, other lenders listed. What you will get though, as soon as I click this, if John's my loan officer, John's going to get an email saying, hey, Chris is out searching for properties today. If I go favorite a property, he's going to get notified. Not only is he searching for properties, but he just favorited this property. But we have this search with AI, and Reddit just came out with a search with AI as well. But there's a big difference between these two. So I'm just looked at my zip code. I'm going to do a kitchen with an open floor plan, wood countertops, or sorry, not wood counters. Let's see, marble countertops, wood floors, stainless steel appliances. So I'm going to go apply this. Now, what Zillow and Redfin's AI is doing is this reading the MLS description. Our AI is doing that, but it's also scanning all of the listing images in the listing criteria that you've given it, and now it's pulling back the properties that match that criteria, but the pictures first. So if you guys go play around with Zillow and Redfin and do that, they're not doing that. They're just serving up the properties, and they may or may not match based on the MLS description. This is actually scanning all of the images.
Chris,
So
am I correct there that this is also looking at your home kind of buyability, in that it's also not going to pull in a $4 million house for somebody that's only qualified for 500,000?
based on how you search. So I can click this budget to start searching with homes in my budget, and then I'll do exactly what you're saying. But just like you said, I look at homes all over my just immediate area. I'm not looking for a house, but I just love to see what's going on in the market. So you can do both. And all of this activity that's search related, when you talk about your referral partners, your agent referral partners, they're getting updates and notified too. So it's not about telling your agents, hey, go use this search platform as opposed to your own. We're not saying that. You should continue to do your normal course of business. What we are talking about is how do you expand your pipeline? How do you grow your future pipeline and keep that as a machine that's working? It's going to take some work up front, but once you got that rolling, and we've seen it time after time with loan officers, there is just a constant feed of now ripe leads that are coming in based on either activity or what we're telling you when you're getting these instant alerts from the app where people are reaching certain milestones. They're really close on something. And these are not only good reasons to reach out because you might be able to help them get over that hump of where they're at, but it keeps you up to date at scale where you're not having to call each consumer or write emails to just get status updates. They're using the app and you're seeing what's going on. We take it a step further as related to search. So when we are in the search and we favorite it, it brings it back into this saved property section. And this is our proprietary readiness assessment. So we run some of the financials on there. They can go and update and play with terms. But the other cool thing is that from a consumer perspective, they've have all these properties saved. When there is a listing update, for example, if this property tomorrow dropped to 600,000, me as a consumer, I'm going to get alerted and it's going to take me back to this section and it's going to automatically rerun the numbers on that lower list price. Consumer doesn't have to do anything except for log in and check it. So it's a good protected place to keep your consumers. And this is just the search and property component. There's a lot more in here, but since John had brought that up, I just leaned right into that. Let's just stay on properties in general for a short bit. The other thing you can do is as a consumer, you can enroll not only your primary residence, but even if you have more well-heeled clients that have investment properties, have vacation properties, they can enroll all of their properties and it brings it back into their whole ecosystem of their finances. So you talk about a consumer, maybe it's a first-time home buyer. They've come in, they've been using this app to get ready, they purchased the home. The app doesn't die there like a typical point of sale application app does. It continues to provide benefit because they can continue to track their net worth, continue to get their credit monitored, credit score updates, and now they can start tracking their home value all in one area. And you guys live full time in the app. So when someone has that app on their phone, you're living on their phone, come back, and you're being reminded each and every time for them to just engage with you through the app. And this is where your realtor partners can come into play as well. Any questions, comments on any of this?
I have just one comment. As you have clients that use this, they will probably be receiving. So if somebody's in there, they've favorited some properties, they link their credit scores, different things, they're probably going to be getting, let's say, 4 to 6 messages per month from you. So 4 to 6 emails from you to go in and check their credit score. This property has been list price changed. This property went under contract. So the more clients you have in there, but I would say a good rule of thumb is probably 4 to 6 touches per month that they're sending out on your behalf of actual data that matters to the client, because it's their data, not just generic data. It's not just the world saying it. It's here's specific data on your actual property scenario, assets, those kind of things.
And on that front, that's one of the improvements that we made in the second half of this year is we did two things. We switched from a mortgage industry CRM to send out these notifications to more of a global consumer centric CRM. And the reason why we did that is to increase the performance. And there's a lot of more tools and sophistications when you're just talking about direct to consumer marketing. In addition, we have a full-time person, a full-time marketing person that is constantly analyzing, constantly refining these emails. So if we send something out, we're starting to see after a month that this email's a dud. We kill it and replace it with something else. So you're just thinking about the time that would take to just keep people engaged. There's a full-time person doing that for all of our FinLocker clients because these product notifications are more part of the product suite, but we are the ones just making sure that they're all performing and continually to improve performance. So I want to go into some other things that are, again, some of you might have already seen, or probably already have. At least this is a good one for just understanding where some of the starting points are for it. So I'm talking about credit because, and the reason why I bring this up is for whatever reason, I mean, I have some hypotheses on this, but when people register for the app, over 60% of folks register for credit, and they do that within the first 48 hours of registering. So why is that important? Well, one, you've got them in on a widget that can keep them coming back. Now, instead of just the onboarding and hey, welcome to the app and guiding them through everything, now you have something that you can start updating on. What we see naturally from the data is that once consumers start enrolling in one widget, they move to the next widget and they get deeper and deeper in there. When a consumer is using 2 or more widgets within the app, we typically see them continually come back. It's just, they're in there, so they're in your ecosystem. But from a credit perspective, they can do a lot more than just like checking my credit on my banking statement, or if they like are using Credit Karma. Some of the tools we have, Credit Karma has as well, but every time they open up a Credit Karma app, they're getting hit with solicitations. They're not getting that here. The other side is that you get to your clients included in the product, they get credit monitoring from TransUnion built into this. So if there's a new trade line opened, if there is a late payment, anything like that, that's built into this. That's normally a cost to the consumer if they really wanted that if they're on their own on a monthly basis. As just part of your license subscription, you're able to offer that to your clients. Currently today, we are using Vantage 3.0. It's mainly from a price perspective, but we are in the process of upgrading to 4.0, which will be a mortgage score. We have some things within here that kind of pad the stats and educate consumers the difference between Vantage and Mortgage FICO, but it does just give them a good engagement tool because if they're increasing, doesn't matter what scoring model they're increasing on, if they're increasing on one model, they'll be increasing on the other. And then they have some very more in-depth tools. So they have a what if simulator. So I'm just going over this. This has been in there for a bit, but we do see high engagement on this. So if I said, hey, what would happen if I paid off all my credit cards? we have an integration with TransUnion. It's going to come back and say it'll increase your score by 26 points. You can see there's a ton of different options that they can simulate. I just did a real quick and simple one, but it allows them to start simulating and see what financial decisions they're thinking about making and how that can affect their score. So I mentioned about 60, and when people enroll, 60% of people enroll in this. Again, another good way, if are seeing some people that sign up and not doing anything, this is a good thing to talk about. Hey, at the very least, you're going to get free credit monitoring, and you're just trying to get them a little bit further into the app. Now, we're doing that as a side note too. So, some of our onboarding notifications stuff, but if you're just going back for a review and you want to get people to dive deeper, that's a good way to check. And I'll show you the back end where you can check all of this stuff. The other big thing that we have worked on this year and put a lot of effort into the last half of this year is our readiness assessment. So we have a patent on this. This is a proprietary thing. You're looking at this thinking this is like a mortgage calculator. Not wrong. It is somewhat of a mortgage calculator, but it's a mortgage calculator on steroids with gamification and engagement and education. So what happens is on a first time experience, the user just answers some like individual questions. It's like a flow of like a five different pop-up thing. Answer those questions, it sets this. But at any point in time, they can come in and they can update any of their financial information, either using their live linked credit and asset accounts, or they can plug numbers. So for example, I'll drop this to 600 and you'll see this, we grade on this 4-star system. So now a client comes in and goes, okay, why did I only get 2 stars? They can now see, we break it down for the cash to close, employment history, credit score, and monthly debt. They can start seeing where they are, not meeting the thresholds based on the previous screen, you saw conventional. There's other drop downs for VA, but we're saying, hey, you're 40 points away. So because they are so close, we have these prompts to talk to your lender. So you're going to get these instant alerts from consumers. It's going to come from customer success at FinLocker, but it's going to say, hey, Chris wants to talk to you about getting approved with this lower credit score. That is a perfect, just hot item to engage with that consumer right then and there, because they are reaching out to you through the app and they have questions. That's that trust building exercise, and then potentially getting them into the next step of getting them into, pre-approval. Under all these sections, there are these lender tips. So there's these educational moments that we put in here where we have to grade on something. So in this case, we're doing like the low end of the conventional guidelines, but we're talking to them about other programs. So how many questions do you guys answer with people calling you up with just these random kind of fact questions? What we're trying to do here is be able to, the consumer in an interactive experience, be able to understand what goes into the loan, how the different categories are broken up, where are there flexibilities, where are there different like creative options like seller closing costs, all these types of things to help you work more at scale. Just stop me if you guys got any questions, comments. The other thing we do is we serve up a dynamic action plan based on the results of the readiness run. So this person was light on they were too high on their DTI, and they were light on credit. So what do? We serve up our credit tools so they can go and start working on their situations, and we serve up our spending analysis so they can figure out how they can get their DTI in a better ratio. Going back to data on this. So this is our second most utilized feature of the app. It's close to 60%. It's not quite there, but it's close to 60% in terms of people who use it. Now, the interesting part of this, though, is when someone runs this once, on average, we see them run it 4 times in a month. So that's that engagement. How many of you would want to know that a good chunk of your clients are coming back and being reminded of you each and every day, or each and every month, month? Questions here? All right, I'm gonna then, so this was just kind of high level. We have credit. Oh, sorry, one thing I didn't mention is we have our finances section. So people can digitally enroll their asset and liability accounts. So if you guys have like point of sale systems where they're digitally enrolling their bank accounts for getting those asset reports and that kind of thing, same type of concept. They just link their accounts, but this is more evergreen. This is a set it and forget it. They link their accounts, and every night we harvest transactions. So they can track their net worth, they can track their cumulative savings, you can track your DTI. And this is applicable to everybody, first-time home buyer, repeat buyer, past client just sitting on the sidelines for their next purchase at, whatever year that may be. And it also brings in all their home value into the net worth. They also get an automated spending analysis. So based on what they've been spending month over month, they can see how they're spending their money. It's auto categorized. They can look at a 3-month view. They can look back in time. We pull back historical transactions so they can take a look back in time. So those people really working on budgeting, this is a great, easy way. All they got to do is enroll their accounts and the system does all of the heavy lifting for them.
One other thing, Chris, can you just quickly touch on the credit piece, the ability for them to share the full report with you where you don't have to go through as a loan officer, pull credit, do a soft pull. You can actually get the full report shared with you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I almost overlooked that. So I just want to pose out to the group here. Who's a little frustrated with credit prices right now?
They're not cheap.
Everyone happy with them?
Then you also see people running stuff through, one big lender to get a free credit report to then see where they're going to go and then maybe pull their own. Credit's become a game that takes time for people.
Yeah. So what we've done, and we are still evolving as well because this whole credit landscape is evolving, but we have some very strategic partnerships with TU, potentially another one in the near future. But what we've tried to do is this is not meant to replace your credit report at this point in time. But I think, you were hearing a lot of things of strategies on stuff like just figure out what their credit is and figure out what their finances are before spending all of that money. And so when someone enrolls their credit, they're prompted to share what we call our buyer vision report. And so again, not meant to replace your credit report. What you'll see on here is it's not down to the individual financial institution like Bank of America or Chase, but it does sum everything up within a $200 range of where they're at. So for no cost, no additional cost for the consumer or you, if you're unsure about pulling credit on somebody, you can put them into the app first. They can run their credit. They can share this with you. You're seeing their credit score. Again, today it's a Vantage, but first quarter next year it'll be Vantage 4.0. But you can see their total debts. You can see their mortgages that they have. You can see soon we will have income and employment pulling into this. Consumer can enroll their payroll provider, but we don't have it pulled in here just yet. But then you can also see their overall debts and if they had late payments or derogatory remarks. And so I just see Luis's question. No, this is included in the product. So whatever, yes, you have to be a subscriber to FinLocker, but there's no click charges for this. You can use it as much as you want. And so this is a good way to baseline that person. Hey, I call John. John's my loan officer. John, I think I had a late payment somewhere in the last 6 to 18 months. I'm not sure. Credit Karma says my score is 680, but I think I'm not sure on some of these things. Here's a great way to just baseline, no additional cost. Here's 2 outcomes of it. One, hey, it looks pretty good. Let's go order that report. I have more confidence that it's worth spending the money. Hey, it does not look good right now. They're already engaged in the credit feature in this buyer vision. You have them hooked into this app to continually come back. They can share this anytime they get an update. They can share it again with you. So it's a good way and no additional cost way to help baseline consumers.
And a great place too for all those clients that aren't ready today. We in the mortgage industry love to do the apply now, move forward now for the person that's at the very bottom of the funnel. Somebody that's thinking 18 months out probably doesn't want to get sold by us. So this is just a nice, easy way. Hey, go check out your credit on your own, sniff around, poke around, see where things are at. And it gives them that very easy place to start to begin looking at their credit without getting sold or having to go through the whole thing of talking to any of us.
The other thing the consumer gets is they get their full credit report. So again, another differentiator from your banking app or somewhere else where they're getting it. They get their full credit report. This is what I'm showing you here is a consumer view, and it's going to show all of the various trade lines down to the individual institution. So even if you had some questions or something on a very particular account, they could take that information and screenshot it and send it to you. for permissible use. I'm not sure why it's not loading on my profile, but it does give a full credit report, all broken down by the institution, broken down by trade lines, you know, the auto, the real estate, and credit cards. Let me back out of here. Something's going on. What's internet now? Can you guys still hear me?
Still got you. Just we're
Yeah.
seeing it's for some reason it's loading your profile.
Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So yeah, that is what everything I just showed on the buyer vision, the credit, completely free to the client. When we're just talking about your clients, you will never see your clients will never see an upcharge within this application. There's never something where we go, hey, consumer, put in your credit card information to unlock this feature. This is all included. Everything I'm showing you is all included within your subscription. You're the one paying for it. You're the one able to give this benefit to your clients. And I think that's a very important thing to, I know I've said it a little bit before, but I can't overemphasize enough is the way you're angling this and marketing this to your clients is you're giving them a lot of the tools that they would have to go to many apps to get. You're giving it to them in a way that you're paying for it, so there is no solicitation. It's only education and keeping in contact with you. And there's some other features in here that are not available, like, you know, or they would have to pay for it themselves, like credit monitoring. I want to move into a couple of the brand new feature that just came out, and then talk to you about what's coming here in Q1. John, you good with that? Anything else?
No, I think that I've got a whole list of notes here, but no, I think that the new sign-ins, the changes inside of the dashboard,
Yeah.
we used to have those mini links. Like there's been some changes there that if you're not actively in there, you wouldn't even know.
So one of the things we found out was, again, we track data everywhere. We track people's journeys through here to just continue to try to make this better. So what we found is two things. One is we had this mobile app registration process where you had to enter your phone number, then it took you to the app and you have to enter it again, and that would sync up. That is no longer the case. Everything's just going to take it to web to register, and then when you've done registering, it's going to prompt you if you want to get the app or not. So it makes it very quick, simple. Registration takes, you know, less than a minute. But the other thing we saw is for those clients that you have that have been in here for maybe, you know, 6, 8 months, haven't come back. We did some campaigns. I think it was like 10 months plus of people who haven't logged in. There was like 10,000 folks. We saw 5,000 of those folks come back, click, and try to get in. Only about 1,000 of them were able to get in. They didn't remember their password. We have a simple forgot password flow, but they didn't want to go through that. So what we've done is we've introduced this new sign in with one-time passcode. So, hey, I haven't been in here for 6 months. I don't remember what my passcode is. I didn't save it on my password manager. I don't want to go through this whole forgot password flow. I can just sign in with a one-time passcode. So it's going to send me, I'm going to pull up my phone now. It's going to send me a 6-digit code, and I'll just be able to get in. Make sure I did it with the right. Second. Sorry, I might not have done it with the right account because it has my cell phone on there. Let's do this one. So anyway, it seems very simple, but the idea here is that think about the number of 5,000. If 5,000 people came back in, would we have gotten 4,000, you know, from that? Because now it was just an easy way to get back in. So that's kind of what we are going for here. So that, again, seems simple, but there's a lot of back-end infrastructure and a lot of work that went into getting this to work right. Now, here's something I am very excited about. So how many of you guys use HomeBot, My Home IQ, Highway AI, any of those like property valuation or market report send sites? Okay, so Alex uses My Home IQ. I'm assuming some of you others. I like My Home IQ. I think HomeBot, besides the cost, is a good product. Highway AI is good. They're all doing the thing, right? It's kind of a commodity at this point. You're giving the same type of information. What we are doing is we're going to be adding this into the platform, both being able to nurture invites. So right now, today, you guys are sending out the invites to your clients. We have AI tools. We have a lot of content you can use to send out invites and stuff, but you're sending those out. Well, we're going to be introducing a new concept, and there's going to be 3 levels of it. There's going to be an invite only, like just an email series. It's a one and done, like 10 email series to invite your clients in. That's going to be completely free to use, indefinitely. Then you can start inviting your home buyers and your homeowners through market reports and home value reports. So all you need to do is upload and list into the admin portal. This is not there today, but it will be here by Q1 and on the earlier part of Q1. And so some of the stuff will look the same. Now, the difference, what we're trying to do is we're not trying to stop with just the market reports and the home value reports. We're trying to pull them deeper into your ecosystem. So you start by giving a market report. So here's an example of a market report, right? Looks pretty standard in terms of like, there's only so much you do with a market report, right? There's the metrics that are the metrics that people care about. We do try to take it a little bit further, talking about the average rents in the areas. And, if you're talking about, people renting or people maybe looking to turn their first home into a rental property and move up, like we're giving some of that information. And then we start, educating them on down payment programs that they might be able to check out in their area. So a little bit of differentiation there when we get into the down payment programs and recent sales and all of that. Now, this is still just an example, but what will be here is on the right hand side, which you don't see right now. I don't have a mock-up, is, hey, do you want to talk to your loan officer? Do you want to get these ongoing market reports, or do you want to take the step and run our readiness assessment? Basically, other calls to action of taking this deeper. And what that will do is your link, your own unique link, will be embedded within here. So you're uploading your list for the market reports, the home value reports, like you would do on a My Home IQ, but there's another level for the consumer to go deeper. And it's going to, when they get into the app, they're deeper into your ecosystem. And so that in today's world, that's where like the differentiator is in terms of like ease of use, right? You can, on a home bot, you can upload the list and they get their home value report and the market report, and they either open their email or they don't. And you see a little bit of activity. In our app, you're asking them to register for the app, but once they do, there's much more stuff going on, much more engagement, much more interaction points. So we're trying to bridge that gap, give them the same things that you're using in other areas, but allow it to go deeper. And how we're going to do this. So when it goes live, we're going to be picking some beta clients. John will be in here. John's been a long-standing partner that we're going to give free usage of these market reports and these home value reports for probably 2 to 3 months of just use it, let us know feedback so we can learn a little bit. At some point, there will be an add-on cost for these market reports and home value reports, but it will undercut what you guys are paying for some of these other providers. So if you're thinking about consolidating systems, getting more into one ecosystem, making your life a little bit simpler at a cheaper cost, that's where this whole FinLocker, with its new features, is going to come into play. Because these market reports do cost us money, the home value reports cost us money, but we are going to make it in such a way that it's going to be much more cost effective for you overall and give you so much more value, because you're going to get the table stakes, the market reports, the home value reports, but then you're going to have all of the app features that I just went through. Any questions, comments, feedback on this piece? Anyone think they'll use it?
So I just want to make sure that I can take my 1,000 closed clients, my prospect list, whatever I want, I could upload it in here, and they're going to begin getting all of these things similar to what they do with like a home bot or something, but it's also going to be driving them to register for credit, to do all the other things.
And so think about you folks that are maybe don't have the time or struggling a little bit with how you're presenting the app. It's also another easy button. Just go upload your list. We take over that nurturing process and trying to get them deeper into your app. And then as we get in further, so where this is going to bleed into is, So it's great we're sending it all to consumers, but you guys want to see what the heck is going on. So what's going to happen here is today what I'm showing you is our current dashboard, and we made some improvements to that. But when you log in, when this is live, when you log in, you're going to now have another tab here for nurturing prospects. And that's going to be these lists that you upload, whether you're just inviting them into the app, whether you're sending them a market report or a home value report, you're going to be able to choose on that. But it's going to start tracking metrics on open rates, click rates, how many people have converted to I'm calling it a locker, but a consumer to your app, they converted and registered for the app. And so you're going to be able to start seeing those metrics and how the system is performing. In addition, all of the post-registration stuff that's going on in the consumer, we're going to start highlighting those metrics in here. So if you're just, if you value, like if you're looking at some of your CRM marketing efforts and you're valuing a certain amount of open rate, a certain click rate, a certain engagement rate, you're going to be able to see that too, where the system's just doing that on your behalf without you having to do anything except for upload a list or get someone to register for the locker. Any questions here? All right. So another big enhancement we did. We changed it. So this used to be called the lockers tab. We changed it to app users just to be more, relevant to actually what it is. These are your users in here. And what we did is we built in these filters. So let's just say I'm coming in here. It's what, today is Tuesday, right? So I'm coming here Tuesday. It's towards the beginning of the week. I want to try to find some people I want to call on. Now so before I go into this, you're going to be getting these instant alerts from the system where it say, hey, Chris moved up a credit tier. Chris is out. Chris favorited 2 properties today. Chris ran readiness and got 4 stars. He's reaching out. He's got a particular question. You're going to be getting all these data. So those are very important alerts because those are signals that you should probably at least understand what they're doing and make the call yourself of whether you should reach out or not. But now you can also take it a step deeper. I haven't made some outbound calls in a bit to this population. So let me go check everybody that's above 620 credit score and above. I just filtered down all of these people. I can go now, click in here. I see now Chris here's my loan officer. Oh, I see he was assigned to the agent as Chris as well. Here's his email, here's his phone. Now I get to see some other information on him. Looks like he owns 5 properties. Here's all of the properties he owns. He favorited a bunch of properties, so he's been pretty active in that section. He's got an excellent credit score. He actually enrolled his payroll provider. I didn't show you that because it's not quite prime time yet, but you're able to see now what his gross pay statement is. And again, no additional cost. That's just they unroll it so you're able to see a little bit more on it. So as you talk about this buyer vision that we talked about earlier, getting their credit profile, you can also have them enroll their payroll provider and get their actual verified income and employment. And any objectives they have in their readiness runs. So this is a way to just you can use this as a call list. Like I want to filter down to everyone. Maybe I'm doing VA loans. I want to filter out everyone who's also identified as a veteran, because in our first time workflow, we ask them the question, are you a veteran or active military? And if so, it opens up a new channel for them to answer some questions, and then they can see some VA scenarios too within the app. So this is something we've been working pretty hard on, but that's all live in there. All right. Any questions here?
A couple other things I just want to throw out there really quickly, and I don't know that you guys promote this too much. We have people that are using the FinToolbox app that have linked it in with their Go High Level CRM. So as a new client comes in and fills out the information, registers for their FinLocker, it creates a new lead in their CRM, and they then are running their own drip campaigns and their own call outs and their own stuff. So FinLocker's hitting them, or the FinToolbox Key Steps, WestCap app, whatever your app is called, is hitting them. But in addition to that, it's now become part of the flow in their CRM, and they're using this as a lead magnet to bring people in on the front end with things like free credit monitoring, what's your credit score, any number of things to capture people. So it's a fantastic lead magnet as well.
Yeah, so we have to John's point, we have the ability to integrate down to the loan officer level in most of our clients, some of our enterprises restrict to just being enterprise, but like in John's ecosystem, the FinToolbox, we can just integrate. We basically just expose a webhook API, and then you can take it and map it to what you want. So Alex, reach out to me if you want, or John, and I can get you the details on that. Just to let you know, it's just we sign a third-party security agreement, basically saying you're going to be a good custodian of the data. You set up an endpoint, and then we do some tests. We post to that endpoint, and then we can update to a prod endpoint, and then it's there. So we have integrations right now with Go High Level, with Follow Up Boss, Shape. We have a native integration with Total Expert, but that's more at an enterprise level. But yeah, we have that ability. I also see Tom, I think it's Tom, Stephen, his questions. What data points should we upload on the spreadsheet for clients we closed a loan for? So here's the cool part about it's not, again, this upload feature is not available yet. It will be available in Q1 and probably the first half of Q1. But here's the cool part is, the old days of where you had to download that template that just fit in the box, like the vendor provided template, us being the vendor. We are going to allow you to just upload an Excel or CSV file. It's going to try to automatically do the mappings to the fields that we need, and then you're going to be able to configure that. So you don't have to go through that messy thing of copying and pasting over spreadsheets. But to answer your point, the minimum data points will be if you're trying to send a market report, we're going to need their zip code. If for some reason it's not a valid zip code, or you don't have a zip code, it'll give you an option to say, hey, you want to either update the zip code, or do you want us to just send a national market report? For the home valuation, obviously you're going to need the address, and the same thing, the system's going to process the file. It's going to say, hey, of these 100, 90 of these were found addresses, here's the other 10, and they'll proceed with the 90, and then you can work on the 10. So we'll be doing some teasers, hopefully before, like even maybe during the Christmas week, and then the first part of the year we're going to get more in depth as we have these in full functioning test environments to show you guys some more. So we'll get back with John in this group and show that. But that's going to be a really cool thing. Again, the first adopters are going to get a level of usage for free. We will be charging some additional money, but again, it'll be much cheaper than what you're currently paying for some of those other providers. And for our pilot users who are doing it for the amounts that they do up front, we're going to grandfather in those amounts. So for example, if you already had like 100 users going through it, and this moves to the point where we start charging, we're not going to count those 100 users. Those are going to be just part of the, good partnership, because you guys have been helping us with getting some activity through there, and so we'll give those just allocated into your account.
One other thing that we haven't really talked about much here, Chris, is agents and ways to engage with agents. And the recommendation that I make is you've got your superstar agents that are sending you deals today, day in, day out. I look at this and say, if I can sign up 2 agents a week, so I'll get 2 agents a week that agree to have a shared app with me. They get all the perks that we've talked about. But if I can get 2 agents a week and those agents just send me a deal every other year, that would be 50 closings next year. And if I continue that, so sometimes people are looking for the whale, that agent that's going to send them 5 pre-approvals, a month, or 2 or 3 deals, and disregard everyone else. Well, about 90% of the agents don't do a deal a month. So you now have a home for 90% of the other agents with a shared app. And if you set your expectation low enough that you're going to receive a deal from them every other year, you're probably going to not be as disappointed when you don't get stuff fast. So
yeah, and that's a great point. So my recommendation, just working with many loan officers and seeing which agents get out there and start using it, is don't set them up first without having at least an outreach or conversation or an interest. Right? Because they're just going to get this product out of the room. What the hell is this? I'm not clicking on links. No one clicks on links that they don't know right now, because there's so many scammers out there. But have that conversation. And the thesis of why for the agents is, what are you doing today for clients who are not ready to transact today? I've talked with hundreds of agents, and with the exception of a few, I haven't heard anything good except for, just the normal stuff, the drip campaigns. I checked in with them. They said they're going to call me back when they're ready next summer. Those type of things. This is a way to get people more engaged. The agent not only gets updates, but you as a loan officer are able to help with the system, help nurture that person along. And can you think about like myself, if I'm myself, I'm a 550 credit score and I still need a little bit of work to do on savings, but in a year from now, all of a sudden I'm ready to go because the app told you and you were working with it, and you hand that back over to the agent. Hey, this person's there. That's one deal that they wouldn't have had if, if they didn't do it. And so it's a reciprocal type of thing. You're giving some value back to the agents. This is a new product as well. Unlike a HomeBot or something like this, agents can't get direct access to this. We don't sell directly to agents. They have to go through a loan officer partner. So there is a little bit of exclusivity, but I want to use just a real quick example here. So here is a invite link that an agent or realtor set up. So this is way, instead of just handing it off to the agent, here's another thing to just generate some content. So these are some AI engines that we built, or channels that we built to just give content. So you think about those agents you're talking to, why not, in addition to setting up, give them something to send. So let's see. My name is Henry Jameson. Memo. You write me 2 texts to clients who are waiting until spring to buy. Oops. Promoting key steps. So this is the default one they did. So I'm going to just run that through. But these are really easy tools. So I put that link in the chat. You can use all of these. So the top section here, there's a video on just the overview of it. You can use all of these. We made individual channels so you can actually work a little bit better on like what you're trying to do. So if you want to use social media, we have one for social media, email and SMS, which is the one I did. But you can use these tools. It takes, a minute or two, and then you could go to that agent with something. Hey, just send these out. Send this out to a few of your clients. Let's see what happens. Hey agent, give me some of your ghosted leads from the last year. Let's start reaching out to them. It's just building it. And if you start showing those adoption of just the app, at least there's something there to start working on. Hey, we're getting people in that have not engaged before. Those are positive signs. I think anyone would take it, especially in this market.
Yeah, I think that the AI tools are incredible and make it way easier to go in. You don't have to write your own prompts. You don't have to, it knows everything about the product, even what you don't. And you can take it and it gets you a really good start. And if you want to kind of tweak it or put it in your own voice, I take what it does and then I ask it to put it in a 4th grade reading level. And then it sounds like me.
John's available. I'm always available for questions. You're thinking about anything, you're getting stuck on a particular point of the product. We want to hear it. I want to hear it. We can probably help you. And, if not, if it's just good feedback for the app, we take that and John knows this, but some feedback just from himself, just on a readiness assessment, got incorporated into the product because he was, had some very strong feelings plus some good data backing all of it. And so we were like, hey, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. We incorporate it in the product. So the feedback is a big help for us as well.
Yeah. The way that how I kind of look at and see a lot of these things is it used to be difficult to write a newsletter, right? To like get in front of your clients, just getting in front of them once or twice a month with a newsletter used to do it. Well, now I don't even need a newsletter. I can just go to ChatGPT and it will write me a custom newsletter every morning. So it's no longer that generic data. Where I think we can add value is by actually providing data that's specific to the individual at their time during their need. And I think that's the world that we're in today. And I think FinLocker accomplishes and does a good job of actually giving you, if you got credit questions, it's going to hit you up with what you need. So in the generic world, you don't add value because you say you do. You add value when the client says you do. And I've seen very low unsubscribe rates from people. I see very high click-through rates. People that are in the app stay in the app. So to me, that tells me all I need to know.
I want to just highlight one quick thing before we break, just because this is a guy, Darren Kaplan. If you guys know him, reach out to him. He'll give you advice, his inputs on it. But I bring this up because this is not a huge social following loan officer. This isn't he's a good producer, but not like a whale of a producer or anything. But he took the app and he started leaning into the credit challenge folks, the people that were being ignored. And so he built this. So he didn't see a deal for 6 months coming out of the app. He now is just about a year in, and he's got 12 deals that he's gotten from the app already. And now he wakes up each and every day or week, and he has a new strong lead coming in from it because he's done the right things and he's built it into his process. He's gotten people to register. He's told them the why, and those have now they're connected to him. He has been that person for him, that anchor, and he's done it. We have several other examples like that, but I like to do this because, and if you look at his population, he's got about 150 consumers in the app that he's built up over the years. So not a crazy number or anything, but he's gotten just like 12 deals, I think, so far from this. Definitely over 10. I think it was 12 that he's gotten.
Yeah, there's a quick question here about a dashboard for the agent partners. I think you guys have held off on doing that because it could maybe be perceived as a thing of value, and then you'd have to charge them and RESPA, but that's been my speculation, so not 100% sure on that.
You're pretty much aligned. So in the future, we will most likely have an agent dashboard, but we're going to have to charge for that for RESPA concerns. Right now, we are trying to still build up more of the agents. We have several agents that are, humming, they love it and use the product. We are trying to work with you folks, like the loan officers, getting the why. We have a lot of material for this, getting them out to using it. If we start seeing a spike in the agent usage, absolutely we'll fast track that, but it's on our list to do. We're just going to have to charge for it. Now, when we do that, we will still have the free option where they don't have to pay anything and they'll just not have a dashboard. But as soon as we give that dashboard and all that, but then as you think about those market reports and the home value reports that we're doing, those are going out first phase with just loan officer accessibility. But that's absolutely on our radar to expand that to co-brand with agents or even giving agents access to that as well. So we are planning it. I just don't have a date for you because it's really kind of based on our product prioritization and what we're seeing.
Do keep in mind that any property specific things, so if a client favorites a property, likes a property, any of the property specific stuff, the agent is notified today via email if it's a shared client with them. And you also, as the loan officer, can move clients from one agent to another inside of your ecosystem. So you got an agent that leaves you, you just move their clients over to somebody else. You control where that client sits with what agent, and they do receive email communication. They say, but if they are bringing the lead, would it not be a RESPA violation?
Not according to our attorneys, because one, we're not offering a firm offer of credit in there, and two, all they're doing is just giving them access to a platform that you are hosting and that you're actually going to be nurturing to the point of then they're going to, at some point potentially getting a firm offer of credit.
Yeah, I think that the agent dashboard is a nice to have right now. It's an awesome tool to get out there. It's a good conversation starter with your agents. And I believe the more you have signed up, the more business you will do in 2026.
Yeah. I just repeating, when you're talking to your agents, just ask them, what are you doing for your clients that aren't ready to transact today? And let them talk. And I think you'll find areas where this can come into play. Not everyone's going to take it up. You're going to have people, I'm not interested, but we've had many where the ears perk up and they're like, okay, I don't have anything for this. And my advice is don't talk. Yes, you can talk about the property search, talk about all of that, but don't talk about it as a replacement for them. We're bringing people in because they need to work on credit. They need education. They need to see where they stand. search is an outlet within the app to keep it protected. So other agents aren't being advertised, other loan officers. So it's still keeping in the ecosystem. When that person's ready to go, hell, the agent should be putting them on their own proprietary search, whatever that they do in their normal course of business. This is getting that person who's not ready to transact with them and not get forgotten and bring them back and keep them within your collective ecosystem.
Awesome. Well, hey, Chris, I know we were supposed to go an hour. We're over. One, I appreciate it. I've seen you have reminders pop up to another meeting you're supposed to be on. So thank you. But just anybody that's here, if you have questions about, and there are, I don't know, what do you guys have? 50, 70, like there are a bunch, right? We saw Westcap Wallet. We've talked about FinLocker, FinToolbox, Key Steps. There's a lot of different apps. It's all the FinLocker technology on the back end. The one that we do here is the FinToolbox. I'm very intimate with it and help people with it all the time. If you have questions though about any of those apps, reach out through the Mortgage Broker Builder community. Chris is in there. You can direct message him through there, his team, different people. Reach out to me, set up a call with them directly, whatever you want to do. I think it's a great app. And if you're not steering your clients, my belief is if I'm not steering my clients to something like this, then Rocket, Redfin, Zillow, they're for sure steering them someplace. And it's probably not, I didn't see a bunch of Rocket mortgage bankers on this call. So it's steering them to someplace. It's just not inside of our ecosystem. So.
Well, and not ironically, but Rocket themselves sees the value in our platform. They obviously want to bring everyone into their, consumer direct system, but they have a huge TPO channel. We are an approved vendor on their TPO marketplace, and they love that aspect of to help nurture. So even Rocket, having Rocket money, they see the value in us, and they're promoting us for their TPO channel.
Yeah, and I mean, and you showed Westcap. It's more or less their TPO broker wing.
Yeah, they're a big
right?
boy. Yeah.
Say it whatever you want to call it. But so again, anybody has questions, concerns, reach out to me. I love this product. I think that staying in front of our clients today with things of value that they actually want is how you win in 2026, 2027. And you've got to play a much longer game. And that's the clients you're talking to today that are going to be closing April, June, July. And the sooner you can get them in your ecosystem, it's just better. So, well, Chris, thank you. If anybody's got any questions here, I appreciate you guys sticking around. Reach out.
I
Would
just
love to try
love
and
all
answer
the
them.
information you shared, John. Really, thank you so much.
And Luis, if you got additional questions, reach out. Set up a time.
Yep.
Love to have a
Yeah, I'll
conversation.
send you
with
an email. Thank you, sir. Really, because I
Awesome.
really like this.
Yeah,
Cool.
I put just to reiterate. Yeah, FinToolbox is a great app. If you got just questions in the app and you're already using it, you want to discuss some things, I put my email in there. Like I said, some of this nurturing stuff, John's environment will be one of the first ones to get these market reports and home value reports, because we are going to do a beta phase of it. So because been a longstanding, just great partner, he'll be one of the first to get this.
And then you guys also do a weekly call, 2 p.m. Right,
2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m.
call,
Central on Wednesdays. You can find it on our resource center. I think John has that in the portal, but I'll put it in here. So this is our resource. Actually, this is just when you have a point. This is for key steps. Doesn't, like John mentioned, we have several other branded apps. The points of it are all the same though. Like in terms of content and stuff, you can just update to something else. But the call that John's mentioning is you can register. It's right at the top of the page on that link.
Yeah. Inside the resource, there's an AI bot. There's just so many things. And with a lot of products, they literally have one of the things that makes it the most confusing is it does 1,000 things, right? So it's almost too robust right? Like you get questions because it's too robust.
So, I know we're way over, but I just because you said that, I got to, John, because you'd be like, why the hell didn't you show me that one? Sorry, let me just pull this up. So real quick, I'm just going to quick glance. One of the things I forgot to mention, and I'm so sorry, to make things more simplistic, here's a view of we're bringing AI into the consumer experience. So now that we have
sharing,
a lot
Chris.
of what?
Were you trying to share?
Is it did not share? Okay, one second.
No.
So this is not live yet, but this is again going to be a Q1 item. We are bringing AI into the consumer experience. So what you're going to see here when someone logs in on their dashboard, they're going to get an AI summary of everything that we see in all of their data, and it's going to take them to next steps or point them to other areas. But you think about a content refresh and everything. Someone logs in from this week and then next week. This is going to be updated because it's going to see updated data. And so it's just going to give them a quick summary area to go to on what's going on in their home ownership profile or buyer profile.
Yeah. Again, like I said, you guys are building, you could probably be 5 separate tools as individual standalone things. You've just put it all together in one. Well, I think it's incredible. We've got hundreds of clients signed up and, you know, individual people out there, credit monitoring, looking at properties. And one of the ways I like to use it the best, and I'll leave it at this, is when you pre-approve somebody, actually just straight up ask them. So now that you're pre-approved, you're going to be out searching for homes. Did you have a favorite app? Like, is there something that you love to do it? What I've found is a lot of my clients, they like to go to the Zillows and the Realtor.coms, but they want to have a place where they can keep and save all the properties they like. We've got this app called our FinToolbox. Inside of there, you can save as many properties, get every update, every notification. Nobody's going to try and steal you. Would it be a crazy idea to sign up for that? And almost all of them say, nope, not crazy. And they sign up right away. And that's just a good way to transition every one of your pre-approved clients. And then they're not getting the Zillows attacking them, trying to steal them away from you. So I like it as just a way to put a motor on my clients, wrap them up really tightly and keep them as close to me as possible. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you all for joining in here. And anybody got questions, you know where to find me.
Thanks all for the time. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.